Okay, we're over here at BIS 3503 MIS, and I'm going to do a bit of a follow-up from what we did on Monday. As promised, I am providing you a pre-recorded screencast because as I've told everybody, I'm going to be out of pocket on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, dentist appointment. So if anybody wants to volunteer to go in my place, let me know. I'll send you, but I don't think you'd want to. Anyway, when we finished up, we were learning a little bit more about mass customization and customer design. I asked anybody who wanted to, who attended or saw the screencast, if they wish to go over to Zillow or Trulia or one of these real estate sites and find their dream house. And as of this date, I have one person, Libby, and so she has her dream homes. Let's look and see what she's got for us. Okay. Yeah, Libby got pretty good taste there. $3,449,500. Okay. Now remember, in chapter 10, we talked about e-commerce. E-commerce and seeks to do two things. One, promote and promote operational excellence, okay, and to develop intimacy with the customer. And they walked us through a whole series of ways that we use these unique features. And of course, here is one of those. And you can obviously you can see if you want. You can locate this place. You can see the rooms. Let's go see what Libby chose. Libby, you have pretty expensive taste. I do too, I have to admit it. Very beautiful. Oh my goodness, isn't that beautiful? You're like living in a castle or something. Wow, what a nice, it is really, really pretty. Let's go to the big view on this jewel and see. Oh yes, yes, very nice. Very nicely done. Yep, pretty nice. So you see, folks, now while I'm seeing it shows your fantasy home and all this stuff, and this is a beautiful house. You notice that they're using, okay, this like a database, okay, and incorporating pictures are the main output to show you where the place is at, etc. So thank you for sharing. You got golf course views on top of it. Libby, I'd have to say not bad at all. Pretty good. And so this is another one of those examples as we talked about, okay, that and we'll go back over here now to the homepage. And thank you for sharing, Libby. Appreciate it. As we've worked through this chapter 10 on e-commerce, okay, and digital markets, digital goods, and again, there on page 394, they talk about the three types of e-commerce: B2C, that's business to consumer; B2B, it's business to business; and then C2C is consumer to consumer. And of course, the consumer to consumer is typified by the auction. And the best auction I know out there, there's some good auction sites out there, and I think you're really talking about eBay. Let's go out to eBay. Okay, and here's their search. Now I want you to notice something. eBay has really changed its site over the years as I've kind of watched them, where there's no there used to be no advertisements and no vendors. It was just people, okay, selling stuff to each other. Well, that's changed, obviously. And as you can see, they've got all kinds of this. It looks a whole lot like Amazon, if you ask me. And you can see these daily deals, all these things that they think that people might be after or might want. So this is where we are really sidestepping it's still somewhat a C2C site, although it's kind of now, I think, in my opinion, it's more of like a kind of a hybrid of the two. Okay. Now, this week I had also given you some resources to take a look at. Okay. And don't forget, you got this hands-on project number 9, and choose any one of them from 10:10 to 10:13. Let's take a look at that for just a minute, and let's talk about it. Okay. And that's project number, hands-on MIS project number 9. Now let's go over to page 420 to 421. And I'll talk about the assignment. Okay. And want to do that. And there in 420 to 421, there's management decision problem. Pardon me. I'm looking for the hands-on MIS. Yeah, the hands-on MIS projects. There's 1010, which is at the bottom of page 420. There's 1011 over on page 421. There's 1012 or 1013. Choose one of them. Okay, now if you were to ask me, okay, which of these do I think would be the most interesting? Okay, I would say I would probably be more inclined to work with 1012, but that's just me. That doesn't mean that that I'm recommending that you do that. Okay, but I do want to see some work, and in each of these. Okay, you get some experience in developing an e-commerce strategy for a business. Okay, and again, the strategies for e-commerce, are really start to be. First of all, they're principally bound up in, okay, the type of transaction that occurs, and that is, is it business to business, business to consumer, or consumer to consumer? Is it that? And again, and then that begins to walk you through the type of social commerce that you use, and those types of steps. So it really does depend upon what you're wanting to do. Now, if you take a look over on page 397 through 399, they talk about something very important, and these are the inner e-commerce revenue models. Okay, and that really boils down to is how do the firms earn money, and they talk about those in terms of an advertising revenue. In other words, it's a website that it generates advertising because it has so many people land there. Okay, advertisers pay for the privilege of being on that website. Now, it's obvious that eBay, okay, has that type of thing. Here's craft selling, trying to sell stuff. You could see they've got we saw Michael Kors here. They're trying to sell the iPhone 10. Okay, these are advertisers, pop-up ads, pop-up banner ads, and again, you could see that they do have some folks who are providing them some work. Now, notice that they've got some blogs on Facebook, Twitter, and Google. This is that social media piece of it, and that's really for the people who've been on eBay forever, who buy and sell stuff off eBay. I've just never had the courage to do it. Okay, I just really never have. Now, of course, they get a fee because they are serving as an intermediary. Then, of course, there's the sales revenue model, and that's where people just sell stuff to you directly. Okay, and these are micropayment systems, Then you have subscription revenue models where you buy a subscription. Then there's the so-called free or freemium revenue model that lets you try something for free, and then if you like it, you buy it, okay? And then there's a transaction fee revenue model, okay? One of those would be if you have these online mortgage companies, okay, or online lenders, they get their money off of fees, off of revenue models, okay? And there are a lot of mortgage lenders out there that they're online, and they make their money off of the fees in a real estate transaction. And then they have what they call an affiliate, and that's where if you get referrals, you get paid money for providing a referral getting a referral from another site, or you refer someone to another site. And these are landing pages or hopping pages as what people talk about. And I think in terms of for me, I think if you take a look over at page 402 and you look at table 10.6, you're going to see these revenues, and you could see that they're all pretty well. Search engines and display ads, okay, and these are in the billions, tend to be the two big money makers. And then you got classified ads, but they're not even videos. They're not even close, okay. But search engines and display ads, and again, people treat the web as a place where when they're buying, they go to particular websites. In fact, most people have about a half a dozen to a dozen websites. That's all. That's where they go. That's what they use. They have a pattern. They might, they'll go to ESPN and they'll go look at news. So it's in the news and the sports. They might go over to, an online newspaper, magazine, or whatever. They might go over to shop. Who knows? But most people are creatures of habit, and they will go where habit sends them. And so these search engine fees, okay, and banner pop-up ads, these deal with behavioral tracking and then targeted advertising. And so those remain the two biggest money makers yet. We have really yet to see the thing that makes Hulu, YouTube, or any of those kind of content amalgamators break through. When cable TV was trying to get started, okay, the pioneer in that, it was HBO. And HBO, I remember the very first HBO was on. That was cable. There were some local shows that were produced, and then there was HBO, which was cable. And then a few years later, there was ESPN. By the time I left school, HBO was on from 10 o'clock at night till 2 o'clock in the morning, and they would usually have a comic. They'd have a variety, kind of like a Tonight Show, and then they'd show dirty movies. Okay, that was HBO. Then they started getting into sports, and I would have to go back and take a look, but it was a heavyweight title fight, and it drew the greatest number of viewers that any title fight had drawn up to that point, including those fights that were usually ABC, Wide World of Sports. Gosh, your turns that would have Muhammad Ali, but it was a gigantic success, and it just took HBO and automatic, and then HBO started getting movies. and they'd show movies, and away they went. Of course, HBO's got its own original programs now. So these digital goods are interesting things, okay, because they can be used over and over and over. And again, I showed you, I told you about TCM, Turner Classic Movies, and there are all kinds of websites out there. There's and I think of content amalgamator, like I call it, a Hulu. They are probably the number one. And the question is, and then now I'm seeing there's a YouTube TV. And I've seen this advertised as I've been watching the World Series and other things, YouTube TV. And so I'm thinking, okay, it's only natural that YouTube is eventually going to have its own broadcasting, and it lets you anybody broadcast off that platform. And and why would do that? Well, they want eyeballs, and they're hoping that with a YouTube TV, in other words, regular programming, they can put just about anything they want to. They're going to find. But there are people like Jerry Seinfeld, for example, who has his own internet web program. Okay, and he, I don't know how many viewers the guy attracts, but a lot. And there are some other internet programs. And I think what was the one that just Kevin Spacey was in it, and he just learned from Netflix that they were going to end the series. I think he's a senator or something like that. Now you've got Netflix, okay, streaming content and becoming a content producer. So we're seeing a lot of jockeying around in those stages. And for us as business people, the question becomes how do I reach the people I want to reach? Who am I selling to? And what type of revenue model are we going to be able to use? Over on page 404, and I'm just kind of taking a quick tour through the text, and then we're going to go over and take a look at some other things. And you're trying to look at the stuff at eBay, and we'll stop there, okay? And the ways that websites get personalized. This is a very important thing. Now, all of us are impervious to a certain degree, where they say, "Welcome back, Keith. Last time you were here, here's the stuff you looked at. You're ready to buy anything." Okay. We don't know yet how much that really creates anything except a sense on our part of, well, okay, they know who I am, and they know the kind of stuff I want to see, and so forth. All right. And so that's the important thing. Now, as I mentioned, I think I might have mentioned this over the weekend when Amazon announced that they had licenses to handle pharmaceutical products. And I think they are now licensed in about 19 states. They have Walgreens, CVS, all of these big companies, and Walmart on edge. Because imagine if you can go into Amazon and order your medications, and Amazon through a third party, okay, and probably the drug manufacturer. Think how this might impact physicians. Think how this will certainly impact retailers like a CVS or a Walgreens, where I can just simply go and I get a doctor's script, okay, and I provide that information. They verify it, okay. Or when I go in to get prescriptions, I say, well, my doctor is so and so and so and so, and well, what pharmacy you use? Well, I use Amazon's pharmacy, okay. Can you imagine how that? Can you imagine how much that scares Walgreens to death, and that needs to scare them? You said, well, how are they going to get the stuff out? Well, they'll deliver it to you. Okay, and look, drug companies, drug manufacturers, pharmaceutical companies make stuff. They don't make cars. They don't make pictures. They make pills. They make liquid solutions of stuff. They make you know, tablets. They make bricks of stuff. I guess you cut and take a chunk of it. I mean, you've been to a pharmacy. You've gotten medication. You got medication. It usually comes in liquid form or tablet or something like that. Hey, those folks are making stuff. Imagine, for example, if you make Advil, okay, how many millions of tablets a day do you think the people at Advil have to make? Well, if they get somebody like Amazon hooked up with them, okay, and they become and Amazon becomes your pharmacy, and Amazon can buy directly from the manufacturer, which is what they're getting licenses to do, and then to turn around and sell it to you, okay, or to deliver it to you. Can you imagine the kind of pressure they can put on those people? And they can really change the whole. They're gonna, if they get into, they'll change the pharmaceutical industry, okay, because. Yeah, and they've been talking about their own delivery service. Amazon has. So this is something that really ought to be. It certainly needs to be addressed in a time as far as this chapter goes in e-commerce. Now, I want to take a kind of a quick web safari here and go over here to the New York Times, okay, and we'll find over here in the business section. Okay, and the I'm going to see if I can find that. Yeah, it was House of Cards that got suspended. I'm going to pop on this. I'll look on this for just a minute and talk about. Look, House of Cards. Okay, it was produced by Netflix. Now, most of you were in diapers when Netflix first went into business. And Netflix was a revolution. It was unbelievable. Okay, you could order movies, and they'd be delivered to your door, and then you'd mail them back. Okay, and Netflix went through a long period. There were some other folks out there, and if next time take a look at the corner there, the old CD store, that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? It's that kind of bluish gray building that's on the northwest corner there, right at Kickapoo. Okay, and it's not Kickapoo, and I'm forgetting the street that runs in front of the school. But it's right across from from the school. It's empty at one time, and then there was a place I think called Red something. But you could go and you could get movies through a vending machine, and when you're finished, you to return the thing, okay? And if you returned it late, then they would not. They wouldn't allow you to check out or buy anything else unless you put in the extra money that you were late. And now we have streaming media. House of Cards was a very popular program, and it was produced by Netflix. So we see that Netflix has gone from becoming what we would call an intermediary, and then a content curator, if you will, to becoming a full-fledged media company. So it's just some interesting stuff that's going on now. Go back over here and look at our times, and I'm going to do a quick search here, okay, in Business Day, and I'm going to search for Amazon Pharmacy, and to see if I can find you that article. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is from the 26th, and to become a wholesaler distributor, okay. And as they say here, the stocks of all of these drug distributors just went down. With just think of it, with Amazon in the fray, they really bring a lot of clout, and they don't need stores; they just ship stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But this is again one of those pieces there, and it's going to be interesting to it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays itself out. So I wanted to take you through there and take a look at that. Now, as these players are fighting off, okay, here's some of the maneuvering that goes on, and we're talking about Anthem, which is a healthcare system, joining with CVS, okay, to start its own drugs, okay, and then we're seeing specialty pharmacies emerge. They'll use very rare or very, very targeted kinds of people, targeted patients who use certain types of drug. So we're seeing some maneuvering go on in the medical industry. Now, I want to also tell you very, very quickly about something that's occurred that my wife are looking at. And right now, the university uses Blue Cross, okay, and Blue Cross has a program called the Virtual Doctor Services, okay, and here's telehealth, okay, and you can call in or chat or write them an email and contact them, okay, and they will get you some help, okay. And we're going to see this in medicine, where we're going to see this more and more in medicine, where the physician is going to come on, and you're going to have a Skype with them. And the other day, this is the open enrollment time at the university. One of the broker that was there came in and talked to us about the teledoctor, a telephysician, and an experience that he had where he had a child who was very sick. He went to the website, put in his information, a doctor, and they Skyped, and the doctor emailed him a prescription, and he went and got the thing filled, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's healthcare that's healthcare at the speed of light. And what will happen is, if you've ever got hurt, and I'm one of those people, especially if I get like a sinus infection, I go to I don't call my regular doctor. It takes me 2 weeks to get in the scene. I go to the urgent care place, okay? And I pay the extra money so I can get fixed now. I don't want to sit and suffer a week till I can get a doctor's appointment. And you may be like me too. I guarantee you, these teledoctors and telephysician is just in its infancy, and we're going to see it really, really change how care is delivered. Okay, and it's going to be one of these things where you may have to have an appointment in order to be on the program. And I haven't looked at that, but I would bet you if you're going to be on that program, you're going to have to go see your doctor every 4 months or something like that. So then there's, they've got you there, they get your blood tests and all that stuff. But Otherwise, you beam in at Blue Cross Blue Shield at 4 in the morning, or whatever, and they give you, this scenario. So we're seeing this is, again, now let me say this. Telemedicine has been practiced for a long time, okay, behind the scenes, and also in countries where there are huge remote distances. Australia, for example, is one of the world's leading leaders in telemedicine, and it's simply because there's is so big. And you have people who live on the East Coast, which is Sydney, and on the New Zealand side, and then people on the West Coast who Perth is the main city, and then of course you have India, is out the Indian Ocean. Well, in between there's not a lot. There's a lot of country. Let me put it like that. So if you want to be isolated, you go in the middle of Australia, you'll be isolated, and they regularly use telemedicine when there needs to be a specialist needs to come in and walk doctors through an operation or consultations. They've been using telemedicine for a long time, using a Skype or a chat type technology, visual chat type technology like a FaceTime, whatever, and it really has changed the face of that, and it's very intriguing to me. And I've thought about paying a little more to have that and to just see how it works. Okay, and they'll have doctors who will make who will come in and talk with you. This is Live Health Online. I'm gonna pop over here for a minute. Okay, see a doctor on your computer or mobile device. Okay, and these folks aren't fooling. Okay, and I guarantee you it won't take them to become too good at what they do till you start seeing things change dramatically. Now, let me say this. One of my disappointments this semester has been the low amount of traffic into my virtual office hours. I've been very disappointed in that. I don't understand it. If you come in and you want to ask me a question, it's fine. And your questions, if they're submitted through the chat device, okay, they don't show up. I'm the only one, and you're the only one who sees them. It's designed to keep you private. Okay. If you were to write me an email and say, Dr. Hartman, could we do a virtual conference, at 9 o'clock on Thursday? That's the best I can do. Or say, if it's reasonable, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'll try it. Okay. Now I've set virtual office hours. Like I said, I've been very disappointed that I haven't had more traffic. Okay. Maybe it's because all of you are not happy about it or whatever, or you don't like it, or who knows. Okay. I record all the sessions so everybody knows I'm there. And I do it now, like in the management, in strategy, in the business policy course, I'm doing that. I'm beginning to transition to that right now with the data administration class as they move into more of an independent study time. Okay, and I've wondered. I have all my advisees. I wonder. Okay, virtual advising appointments. I can do everything virtually, whether I'm in the office in Shawnee or here in Oklahoma City, that I could do where you can and plop your carcass in my office. Okay, I have the same I have access to the same information. So, I'm trying to kind of to urge all of you who take classes with me to use this technology. Okay, now I know you do it because I can go into the analytics. I can see who has looked at anything and how many times you've logged in. I can see what you looked at, how long you were there, because I get those analytics from Canvas. And so I know people are coming in and they're very active and they're working and they're looking at stuff and they're uploading things, not business. Okay. And so, I've come to the point where I've said to the dean a couple of times, I may simply tell students I only do virtual appointments. Okay. And the reason is your schedules can get if your schedules get as crazy as mine, okay, then it becomes a different kind of an issue in terms of what's going on. And, when I have a doctor's appointment, or I've got to deal with a sick, with a sick relative, or I have a conference I need to go to, or something like that. I don't want you to get left in the lurch where you miss a class, or a class I leave you out there and I just make you take a test or something like that. I try to make sure that I have something meaningful there for you to look at and to see and to do. So I'm hoping that we'll see more of that, okay, and that you'll get comfortable with that, because I'm just going to tell you now, that's the way, especially with medical care. Medical care is going to improve, okay, immensely. Think of for a moment, and where I see this could be the most important is going to be in rural areas. It is impossible for small towns to get a doctor. The reason you see these regional health centers, like the one there in Shawnee across from the school, well, now it's St. Anthony's. And the reason you see them is that the little towns out around there in Potawatomi and Lincoln County, they used to have a doctor, 2 or 3 doctors in town. They've all died out or left. And so now you go in. Well, think about it. If you needed to see your doctor, okay, and you could have that conference. Now, what they're doing this is using this as an emergency kind of service, but I really do believe in a certain point in time, your annual or your semi-annual, or how many times a year. I go to the doctor for a physical twice a year. They take your blood, they ask you some questions, if you're taking a medication. Hey, that can be handled pretty quickly without me sitting in a waiting room waiting for the doctor. I could be in a virtual waiting room. Okay, so we're going to see more and more of this kind of thing. And this really and this, so we just really haven't seen yet how all the ways of e-commerce are going to be worked through and handled. Well, folks, I wanted to also do just a little bit more of a web safari. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go over to. Ooh, it's scary. It's Happy Halloween. And we'll go over to the LA Times online, take a look at what they've got to say about how things are going. All right. And we'll look at the sections. Here's something interesting. We're just seeing this stuff. I'm not going to touch that. This is some of these incredible stories, okay? About what happened in the 2016 election are just absolutely off the chart, okay? It is unbelievable that they used Facebook to go after, they reach 126 million people. And let's go over here for a moment and pop over here on the technology section. We'll look at the entertainment section first, because they'll always have some good things. Well, now that's going to be trending, something about Wendy Williams collapsing during her live show. And not, a lot of stuff about Kevin Spacey and all that business, okay? So, not much there. Let's look at the business section. Then we'll look at the technology section. And here we are, MGM and another company talking about distributing their own movies. Okay. Again, these MGM is, you know, a traditional content provider now in the fight of its life to distribute movies, and they want to distribute their own movies. Okay, and they're starting to understand that you know, unless you have a place like where I live, out on I-35 here in Moore, there is the IMAX. And that's the future of going to see a physical movie, okay? And look, you go to see a movie now, you pay 15 or 16 bucks to get in. You can drop 50 bucks really easy going to a movie. And so there's a point where you go, hey, you know, I can see it for $1.50 or 99 cents on Hulu, or like with Cox Cable. I see most of these first-run movies within 6 to 8 months of when they come out. If I want to really see them, most of them I don't even care to see. But there's the occasional movie in my life, and I just go, let's wait and we'll see it then. Okay, and it works itself out like that. But we see these types of things happening, and of course these are all e-commerce and various manifestations of the rise of e-commerce and what it's doing. Now, I'll find one final section, go over here to the technology. Okay, and there's more about Apple's not going to use they're not going to you know, buy their chips. And these are efforts to, you know, bring, yeah, solar powered balloons to the internet to Puerto Rico, and everybody in Puerto Rico will love Google for doing it. Here's more about self-driving vehicles. Okay, and you could see, you know, a lot of stuff going on. I think what's fascinating is this, how people are using technologies, especially around television. Here's something interesting: an online clothing styling service. Okay, a luxury good, which is tailored clothing, is going to be coming, and is coming to you now. Okay, and they are a clothing styling service, and they're about to go public, which means they're going to do an IPO, they're going to get incorporated, etc. And I don't know. I've never used the service. I don't know that much about it, but it is very, very intriguing. Okay, and I see these. I see ads. I've seen a few ads for clothing for men where you can get them tailored or whatever. The camera technologies and as the camera technologies get more advanced, okay, you will be able to order clothes that fit you perfectly off the internet, shoes, anything. Okay, and really what they'll use is the camera, probably a camera in your phone. Okay, and they'll instruct you on, you know, what pictures to take, etc. And would you like, and do you want it to be, you know, fit a little looser, or you want it really tight? All that kind of stuff to walk through, you know, walk you through the fitting, and certainly with shoes. And so you know, where this will all go, who knows? But again, this chapter is an exciting chapter to me because I see that there are just so, you just keep seeing new things pop up, and new types of businesses, and taking businesses that were really place bound and making them basically a global business right off the bat. Because if I want to go up there and if I want to go to these people and have them do the fitting for me, it doesn't matter if I'm in Oklahoma or Texas or wherever I'm at, they're going to do business with me. Okay, and it's pretty interesting to see what all they've got going on. Well, folks, we've been on here for about an hour, okay? And I think that I've covered and have amplified a lot on Chapter 10 on e-commerce, digital markets, digital goods. And all I can say is that we're hang on to your hat, because it's really, things are going to change tremendously over the next 10, 15, 20 years. Well, I'm going to come back over here for a minute, and what we'll talk about now, this will take care of us for this week, okay? And this is the pre-recording pre-recorded screencast that I promised you. So because I got to go to the doctor tomorrow, go to the dentist, and deal with that. Okay. So I'm going to end the recording here, and I just want to tell you, I will be posting some more on. We're going to continue on Tuesday and next Tuesday, and we'll have next Monday, and we'll be looking at Chapter 11, where we're going to look at the question of knowledge management and what does that mean, and how does that all work itself out, and some interesting stuff. Okay, well, thank you, and I look forward to seeing any comments, or if you need some help, whatever, I'll be happy to do it. This is a pre-recorded screencast, so obviously I don't have anybody, but I will be back in class on Monday, and next Monday, and we'll see you then.